Hello everyone. Moving on to the next concept. Now in this lecture, I'm going to take you through the concept of living, the concept of living world. So it is clear to you that after my first two lectures, the first lecture was on cell, the basis of life, why cell called the basis of life. The second one was why a virus is considered as bordering between living and non-living. Now I'll deal with the entire chapter of cell, starting with the cell theory, bundled up after a few lectures. Now, my aim of uploading these YouTube videos is to help you clarify concepts of biology. Students find it very difficult, especially those who are aligned with math, mathematical style of thinking, physics, chemistry style of thinking. I find it very difficult to conceptually hold on to bio, and they think bio is a subject which is rote learning. Now, I just want to clarify this, that bio is not a rote learning subject. Once the concepts are very clear, and this is something which is deeply ingrained in me, which is really close to my heart. I really want to take, I love the subject bio. I am a biochemist by profession. I did my master's in biochemistry from the University of Mumbai, and I had topped the college then and had second position in the university. So I hold the subject very dear to me, and I really want to clarify the concepts which students find it difficult to understand. And without concept clearing, my lectures are positioned as neat lectures, because without concept clearing, every sentence or every word that is given in your NCERT textbook can be twisted and can be created into a MCQ, and that is what NEET is all about. The examination of NEET is about um, taking out the concepts from each and every sentence in each and every word of the NCERT textbook, and I'm bundling up these series and trying to aim to make the concepts of biology clear for all of you. Now, it's my sincere request, if you like my lecture, if you think it clarifies anything for you, please share and subscribe and keep coming back to this channel, so that you can be associated with me, and keep commenting in the comment box if there's any concept that you want me to clarify further, any question. I'm there for each and every one of you. And I will personally, as we move along, you will find that I do get attached to each of my students, and I will clarify each and every comment personally. You will find that as we go along, because I am a bio teacher at heart. So let's move on from the to the living world. The living world means, as we go back to my first lecture and listen to it, anything that has a cell is classified as living. Second lecture, that is why viruses are classified as bordering between living and non-living, because they do not have any existence outside the host body. They do not have the cellular machinery. So they are not classified as living, but they are living within a host organism. So they are said to be bordering between living and non-living. Now, what is the concept of living? A living being. Cell is the basis of life, is the single unit of life. Cells get modified depending upon the organism where they are, depending upon the organ where they are. They got modified to perform different functions. The living world chapter starts with the concept of the living world. The living world means any organism or any any group of cells, a group of tissues, a single cell may also be classified as living, is also classified as living. Anything to be classified as living should show certain characteristics, and these characteristics include: first, they should show growth in some way or the other. It should show consciousness, some response to the environment. It should show metabolism. A living cell always shows some give and take with its outside environment, which is said to be in a state of metabolism. It gives something, it gives something, it takes something from the outside environment, and that this give and take creates a sense of life, a fluid system. It's not static. So if you see a cell at point A in time, and if you see a cell after 2 seconds, or say after 5 seconds or 10 seconds, you will find change in its constituents from time A to time B. That is what is said to be, it interacts with its environment. That is said to be, it is said to be metabolizing. So for an organism to be categorized as living, it should show growth, it should show consciousness with the environment, it should show metabolism. Reproduction is not the basis of living. Some couple may choose to be childless. Some sterile organisms do not reproduce. It is not said to be the basis of life, but if your MCQ says 4 options where reproduction seems to be the most conspicuous one, then you mark reproduction. You don't leave an MCQ saying that reproduction is not the basis of defining life. Reproduction does not define life, but reproduction can be carried out only by living beings. Understand the difference between what I'm saying. Reproduction does not define an organism to be living, but reproduction is shown only by an organism that is living. Understood? To solve an MCQ, you need to have these concepts very clear. These are some places where the students get confused. They don't know how to mark the MCQs. And remember one thing in a NEET exam, you mark the MCQ which is the most correct. I will be repeating this in each and every of my NEET-based lectures. You don't mark an option which is right, what is given in the textbook. You mark an option A, B out of 1, which is the most closest to the correct answer. Remember that. So reproduction is also some characteristic of living being. Then living beings have several characteristics. A different textbook, Stroman's lays down different characteristics which define aging is defined as living, and various characters. But to be the basic characteristics that defines a being or a living being is said to be growth, consciousness, response to the environment. Consciousness also means response to the environment. They may respond positively to the environment, negatively to the environment, cold, hot, whatever. The third point is metabolism. Living beings will show metabolism. They will show anabolism, catabolism. There are different ways of the different types of metabolism. They may be building, they may be breaking down reactions that are metabolic reactions. Reproduction is one of the characteristic features which define something as living. As you move on with this chapter, conceptually what students find difficult to understand in this chapter is the concept of taxonomy and systematics. So the first chapter of NCERT textbook class 11, which is very, very important for NEET, starts with defining the living world. Then it moves on to how do scientists try to classify the living world. So it deals with classification, taxonomy, systematics, and the concept of binomial nomenclature. We'll deal with each of these one by one. I may take 4 to 5 lectures to complete the chapter, but as we move on, I'll keep uploading newer lectures every 4 to 5 days if I can. If not, it's going to be every 6-7 days. So we started with defining the living world. The living world consists of plants, animals. The scientists tried to, in the late 1800s, in the late 17th century, when they started realizing that life comes in different forms and cell is the basis of life, and that anything that consists of cell can be classified as a living, they decided to classify. So initially they thought the living world could be classified into 2 categories: those that have blood, those that don't have blood. Aristotle did that, and that was found to be wrong or erroneous. That was not found to be the basis of life. The simplest way to do it was to divide it into plants and animals. Now the scientists found out that there were several categories which were neither classified as plants nor animals, or they could be classified those as plants, and those could be placed in animals as well. That is when the real study of classification come into picture, when they had to define something as living and then start classifying it. Now, what is the meaning of classification? The word classification means putting it in clear-cut categories. You are classified into class 11 or class 12 students. If there was no classification and you were left in a school to sit wherever you want to, you could have been sitting in one class with a class 4th grader, and you could have been sitting with an 8th grader. And that is not the right way to study. You need to be grouped with students who are of your age group, of your mental level, of your IQ, to be able to, and has dealt with subjects up to class 10th to be able to come up to class 11th. Hence, the need for classification. When scientists divided it into plants and animals, it was found to be incorrect. And several different bases of classification were done, after which the living world was classified. In the next chapter, we deal with the entire concept of classification. For now, this much for you to understand is enough. For the first chapter, it's enough for you to understand that classification is grouping of organisms having similar characteristics in one group and differentiating it from organisms that have dissimilar characters in some way or the other, which are placed in different group. Clear? So do memorize the definition of classification. The second definition that you need to memorize and understand clearly would be of taxonomic and systematics. Taxonomy and systematics. This is where most students get confused, especially while solving MCQs or when answering one or two liner answers in CPSE. This becomes a little challenging. So what is taxonomy? Taxonomy is the study of organisms, group of organisms, classifying them, placing them in different strata or different groups or subgroup, identifying, classifying and placing it in a certain group is referred to as taxonomy. Also, nomenclature, naming the organism. So supposing you go to an Amazon rainforest and you find a new organism. It's a new bacteria, or maybe you find a new plant. You've identified it. Now you will identify it whether it belongs to algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte. You will classify it. According to the characters that it shows, it will be placed in a category where it most belongs to. Correct? Most similar characteristics. And then after that you name it. The system of naming was given by Carolus Linnaeus. It is called as binomial system of nomenclature. Just like we have a binomial system of nomenclature, we all have a name and a surname. Similarly, all plants and animals have a binomial name. The binomial name is one part of it. The first part of it is the generic name or name of the genus, that is a surname, community that it belongs to. And the second part is the species, that is specific to what it is. So my name is Rekha Chaturvedi. So my name is Rekha and my species group or my surname becomes Chaturvedi. Similarly, you all know a couple of binomial names. Mangifera indica is a binomial name for mango, where Mangifera is the genus to which mango belongs. Indica is the species to which it belongs. So a binomial nomenclature is the system of naming in which every organism is given a name which consists of two subparts. One part is the name of the genus and the second part is the species to which it belongs. That is called as binomial system of nomenclature. An interesting fact is that the binomial system of nomenclature was given by Carolus Linnaeus. This is the name you've always read. Remember, Carolus Linnaeus, by MCQ point of view, binomial system of nomenclature was given by Carolus Linnaeus. I'm sure a lot of you know a lot of names already. You know that Panthera leo is lion, Panthera tigris is tiger. At the end of these lectures, this series, I will hold a lecture on just about 100 binomial names. That would be very interesting to discuss. Carolus Linnaeus, an interesting fact is, his name is Carl Linnae, Karllinnae, and he changed his name binomially to Carolus Linnaeus. This is an interesting fact that Carl Linnae changed his name to Carolus Linnaeus to make it sound binomially. So that is the concept of binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature, the question on binomial nomenclature in CBSE typically comes as a 2-marker question, explain binomial nomenclature. So you just have to write these 2-3 points and give 2-3 examples. That binomial system of nomenclature was given by Carolus Linnaeus. It states that a name of every organism is made up of 2 subparts. One part is the genus name. It is also called as a generic name. Generic is the adjective form for genus. And the second name is the species name. So there's a generic name and there's a species name. And every organism has given a name binomially. So that is the binomial system of nomenclature. The third part of this chapter, I don't want the lecture to be too long. So I will end it here, and then I will, in the next lecture, I will deal with the concept of taxonomy, systematics. Now, if you found this lecture to be interesting, do like, subscribe, share with your friends, and comment in the comment section what else do you want to, what kind of, what else do you want me to include in the next lecture. But next lecture is going to be on taxonomic hierarchies. It will start with taxonomy, systematics, then with taxonomic hierarchies. To understand the concept of hierarchy, this is where I urge you all to please come back, because this is the part which students find most confusing. Taxonomic hierarchy is what the students find extremely confusing. And then we will deal with um, a little discussion about herbaria and then binomial nomenclature. Bye-bye.